Bill Clinton began his presidency with an outspoken commitment to reduce carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gas emissions in an effort to address climate change. On top of this, Clinton appointed genuine environmentalists to head the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, and the Department of Interior, and chose a vice president who had strong environmental commitments. Clinton established offices with the Department of Justice and the EPA to address issues of environmental justice, and with the State Department under his watch, they began focusing on environmental security threats. Clinton also proposed the largest budgets ever for wildlife protection and preservation of our national parks. However, Clinton's most visible legacy will be his protection of large parcels of land from exploitation and development. In his last years of office, he used the Antiquities Act of 1906 to place over 3 million acres of federal land off limits to development by declaring them national monuments. These areas include Utah's Grand Staircase, Escalante, Arizona's Grand Canyon, Parashant, and California's Pinnacles. With these actions, Clinton set aside more acreage under the Act than Theodore Roosevelt. These measures, along with efforts to restore the Everglades, restrict flights over the Grand Canyon, ban snowmobiling in national parks, and fight off congressional attempts to open the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge to oil and gas drilling, represent significant achievements. Clinton will be remembered foremost, along with Roosevelt and Carter, for preserving many of America's wildlands and scenic. Clinton also used executive power to order 1/3 of national forest land off limits to road building, logging, and oil and gas exploration. This move, which covered more than 58 million acres in 39 states, protected all remaining national forest land that had not already been developed or granted permanent protection as a wilderness area.
The Clinton administration also made headway in so-called brown issues, which were environmental threats associated with industrial pollution. It approved new clean air standards for soot and smog, cleaned up 515 Superfund sites, doubled the number of chemicals that industry must report to communities through right-to-know laws, and set new tough standards for reducing sulfur levels in gasoline. The administration also took measurable action to protect the nation's waterways and water quality by launching the Clean Water Action Plan, strengthening the Safe Drinking Water Act, and permanently barring new oil leasing in national marine sanctuaries. Perhaps Clinton's most significant environmental accomplishments come not in the form of what he achieved, but what he staved off. Clinton faced an aggressive and hostile Congress that worked consistently to dismantle fundamental environmental laws such as the Endangered Species Act, and to frustrate the ability of agencies such as the EPA to carry out their regulatory work. Clinton consistently resisted these attacks by vetoing numerous anti-environmental bills, including the package of anti-environmental legislation that was part of the 1995 Congressional Leadership's Contract with America. Counterfactual evidence is rarely impressive, but Clinton's efforts to beat back Republican attempts to emasculate U.S. environmental law and process should not be missed when assessing his environmental legacy. Things would be a lot worse now if Clinton had not been steadfast in his opposition of the Republican Congress.
Bill Clinton once said, "Much remains to be done. A third of us still breathes air that endangers our health. Our national parks are badly in need of funds for adequate maintenance and staffing. Many species remain in danger of extinction. In too many communities, the water is unsafe to drink. Some 10 million children under 12 live and play within 4 miles of a toxic waste dump. We have cleaned up a lot of our waterways, but more than a third of our streams still need work. The list of work to be done is long, but we have made considerable progress. I have never believed we had to choose between either a clean and safe environment or a growing economy. Protecting the health and safety of all Americans doesn't have to come at the expense of our economy's bottom line. Creating thriving companies and new jobs doesn't have to come at the expense of the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, or the natural landscape in which we live. We can, and indeed must, have both. Bill Clinton, the 42nd President of the United States.